Hello, and welcome to Cardboard and Plastic. Today's just going to be a quick video about why you should just stay away from Arena Club. They have a serious issue with centering of their cards. So, I don't care. I mean, they could be transparent as they want to be. They are using a completely different standard than all of the other grading companies, and I'll dive into that. So, first of all, with their grading, they have their grading process. I'm not going to go over that. I just want to go over grades and specifically centering today. So, they have a perfect 10, a gem mint 10, a mint 9. And if you go down, they stop at 8, right? So, I mean, they have two perfect 10s, right? But once they get below an 8, they don't care anymore. And this is pretty important because when you look at grades, it's always the centering that doesn't really even matter with the grades. And if you actually take a look here, there is no mentioning of specific numbers which they use for centering. And for a company that's supposedly, I'm using in quotations, AI, they don't have any numbers that tell you how they grade. So we'll get into the grading of the centering in a little bit. The other thing I hate about Arena Club is we have influencers. And here is Derek Jeters, and this is his real, I guess, his one of the founders of the company there, investors of the company, Derek Jeter. And if you take a look, here are some of his beautiful cards that he has in a showcase that he's trying to sell you. So poor Derek Jeter, he must be running on really hard times right now. He's sitting here and he's grading a 1977 Thurman Munson with a crease on it that is a grade of 1.5, and he wants to sell you this card for $25. So he must be on this platform all the time. He's grading, this is great. He's grading 1981 Topps Dave Winfields in grades about 5.5 to 6.5, trying to sell those for $8. So Derek Jeter has nothing else better to do than be on this platform. And if you go to other showcases, right, they have Steve Nash, who I guess they made him sign a few cards, and he's trying to sell those. I guess one's a giveaway. But we have offers, right, for his signed autographs. And I guess maybe he's more of a PSA collector, Steve Nash, if he collects cards, because he has a bunch of those on there. And influencers. Fantastic. I love influencers. Let's take a look at Pac-Man. These influencers are given free, yes, free grading, and they're grading a bunch of shit and throw it on here, and so people can buy slabs from their favorite Pac-Man or other influencer. So let's take a look at some of the great stuff he's been grading for free. So look at this. You could buy a $3 card from him. All right, so he's just there using his free submissions, grading crap, and making money off of Arena Club. And Arena Club's making money off of him because a lot of people follow Pac-Man like, wow, this Arena Club is an amazing grading service. So let's get into the shitty grading. And here is the first one here. So this is a John Smiley that got a 8. Okay, now let's go. And by the way, too, do you see, like, there's little black things here? They don't even have a picture of the real card for the majority of these things. What they do is they take the card that you get graded, they Photoshop it into a holder. So this, you got to be really careful. You actually have to go to the images to see what your card really looks like. So this card got an 8 with centering left to right of 76-24. We're going to come back to this in a little bit. What other company would give this card an 8 besides Arena Club? The answer is probably none. Not even the lower end grading companies that grade in their basements. They would not give this card an 8. So what I believe Arena Club's doing, which no other company does, is they're taking the centering grades for the back and the front and they're averaging them out to try to get a average centering grade. All other grading companies, they look at the worst centering, 76/24, and then that is what they use for their grade. And I'm not even going to get into the edges, the corners, the surface. We're just looking at the centering and seeing how they deal with centering. Look at this beautiful card. Again, you can see the black because they photoshopped it into the holder. So let's look at centering here. So this card is cut. I mean, this is like a diamond cut here. So you can, or slanted here. So you can actually see that it barely any border here. Now this card got 5.5 for the centering. So this card, if it was crisper and had better grades here, it could have got a 6. So imagine giving this card a 6 with this centering. Ridiculous. Now, if you ever take a look at it too, like where do they put the lines, right? Well, we'll just kind of average those and we won't take away points because it's tilted at all. Right? So you got to deal with that, Arena Club. Now, let's take a look at this card. Let's look at the centering here. Now, do you see top and bottom? They use the top of the blue, the bottom of the blue. Let's look at another card, 1984 Fleer. Kirby Puckett. They use the top of the blue. And then they use below the outfield. So what do you want to use, Arena Club? Do you want to use this for your centering? Do you want to use this for your centering? Can your AI distinguish between the two? No idea what you're doing. And so this is the easiest thing to do for cards is to measure the centering, especially for computers. And if I cannot trust the centering, how am I supposed to trust these other 3 parameters? So let's go back and look at this card for the John Smiley. So let's go here, 76/24. This got an 8. So we're going to look at what would PSA, SGC, BGS, and CGC, what would they grade, the big 4 grading companies? So let's go to PSA first, which has the most lax grading standards. So 76/24. So that has to be, that's actually below 75/25, right? So this would be the equivalent of above 80/20 grading, okay, 80/20 centering, right? Because we only can take a look at the worst centering. So PSA. Let's look, let's just start at a 6. Centering must be 80/20. (70/30), 75/25, which doesn't qualify. So for PSA, if they were grading that card, it would be 80/20 or better. So that would be a 6. So Arena Club gave it an 8. PSA would have to give it a 6, or maybe a 6.5, right? They can give it the half grade. Let's go to BGS, which has some of the strictest standards. Might have to blow this up. So a 6 is 70/30. Well, that's not there. 75/25 doesn't make that. So Beckett, the highest they would grade it would be a 4, according to their grading standards. Let's go to SGC. So a 7, and again, we probably have to zoom this in. 70/30, 75-25, not there. So SGC would give that John Smiley a 5 or maybe a 5.5 if it's nicer for the other parameters. And CGC. And notice all of these companies have rubrics all the way down that give you numbers with 70-30, right? So here, 75-25. So again, doesn't meet this. So the highest it could be is a 5 or a 5.5 for CGC, which used to be CSG for sports cards. So this card, and by the way, I'm not cherry picking here. There are hundreds of examples that I could pull up for you where they overgrade cards by 2-3 grades based alone on centering. So take a look at yourself. Go there, take a look at the cards, look at how they calculate the centering, and compare it to the other grading companies. Because here, if you notice, all their grades explained. They go symmetrical centering on front and back of card. They don't give you any numbers, any percentages, and they stop at 8. So down in the comments below, if you are an Arena Club fan and really like their grading, please explain why this is acceptable. Please do. And this is something I don't really care who you grade with, but Arena Club is just different than all the other companies out there. And I really don't like how they're catering to the flipping, the influencers, and having shitty grading. So again, have a great day. Keep on collecting.